Hello NFL fans and welcome back to the Wall of NFL channel. In this video today, I'm going to be talking about the Packers against the Cardinals on Thursday Night Football. I'll be giving my thoughts on the games that I think are going to be the best games in Week 8, and I'll also be predicting every game of the weekend and who's going to win each one. Last night's game between the Packers and the Cardinals had a really dramatic finish. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals were marching down the field with final seconds left on the clock, and they were just about to score a touchdown, and everyone believed it they would. But Rasul Douglas ended up intercepting Kyler Murray in the end zone to seal the Packers' 24-21 victory. The Packers really didn't look like the normal Packers that we've come to expect with Aaron Rodgers. They didn't have a lot going in the passing game, so ended up relying really heavily on A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones as well. And those two really tore up the Cardinals on the ground, who have struggled to stop the run in the past few weeks since the start of the season. It's probably the one Cardinals' weakness at the moment, and it really showed in this one, because that was the difference maker in this game. I think Cardinals were missing JJ Watt a little bit since he has gone on his season-ending injury because he has got to get shoulder surgery. I think the Cardinals, they were pretty good, but they just weren't able to keep up with the Packers, who were really controlling the game, and the Packers did a great job. And I think that the Packers now are much higher up there in my estimations in how good they are in the league. I think it was hard to get the taste of the Saints game out of our mouths, but now after seeing them beat the Cardinals, they look like definitely one of the best teams in the NFL. It's looking like the Browns are going to be without Baker Mayfield for the second game in a row. And whilst that is them missing out their starting quarterback, which is of course the most important player on the whole team, there's actually not a lot of difference between him and the backup Case Keenum. Case Keenum and Baker Mayfield both boast a 62% completion percentage over their whole career, but Baker Mayfield does have a 90 passer rating as compared to Case Keenum's 85. I don't think though there's, as I said, not an awful lot of difference, so the game plan by the Browns should actually be very similar, which has always been pound the football, play via the run game and try and churn up a lot of yards and keep the game clock running and try and control the game a little bit with their running game. The Steelers, though, on the other hand, should be well versed in stopping that because they do have one of the best defenses in the league, and I think about 10th best in terms of run defense. So that, I think, is going to be the key as to whether the Steelers win or the Browns win, whether the Steelers can stop the Browns' running game. I think the Steelers, they're just going to have to focus on, like they do every week, taking the ball out of Big Ben's hands and getting it into the hands of their big playmakers, Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson. I think the Chargers will have gone into their bye week in a really low state of mind. They've had 2 weeks to kind of grovel over a really bad loss to the Ravens by almost 30 points, and now I think they're going to come out of the blocks flying against the Patriots. I don't think they're going to absolutely blow out the Patriots or dominate them to a high extent, but I think that Bill Belichick and the Patriots are a really sound team and they will keep the game really close. Mac Jones as well has really showed that he's one of the top quarterbacks, top half in the league in terms of quarterbacks. He has the 4th best completion percentage in the league and the 9th best passer rating. And he looks like he could be the real deal because running that like kind of mid-2000s kind of offense that the Patriots sort of have, he's doing really well at it. And I think that he could be the guy that's going to be winning Rookie of the Season or Offensive Rookie of the Season, aside from maybe Jamar Chase. The Chargers do have a pretty decent defense as well, so the Patriots won't be able to rack up 54 points on the Chargers like they did last week against the Jets. So I think it'll be pretty close, but Herbert is just a little bit too good for the Patriots, and he is definitely one of the best quarterbacks in the league in my opinion. He makes amazing throw after amazing throw, and he's going to be the guy that is going to dominate this game. So far since Tom Brady has joined the Buccaneers, the Saints have dominated the Buccaneers in the regular season. Last season when they had Drew Brees, the Buccaneers didn't look a scratch on the Saints and they were absolutely fantastic. Saying that though, in the playoffs the Buccaneers did get their revenge when the Buccaneers went on to beat the Saints and go on towards the conference championships and then win the Super Bowl after that. I would say though that this year the teams look very different. Well, the Buccaneers, they kind of look similar, but Tom Brady is stepped up and looks even better than he did last year, as he's averaging 325 yards per game with 3 touchdowns as well, and it's just mind-boggling that he's able to do that. The Saints, though, they only average 16 points defensively, and that's kind of where their team is stacked, and I think that is going to be the key that the Saints need to win the game. They've got to play tough defense and stop Tom Brady as best they can. So the Saints, as I said, are averaging 16 points a game, and the Buccaneers are averaging 33 points a game on offense. So I really think whichever team dominates that side of the ball, whether it's the Saints defense or the Bucs offense, I think that's going to decide which of these teams win the game. I think that Jameis Winston, he looks very different in the offense, of course, than Drew Brees last year. So I think that it might be tough for the Saints on offense, considering the Buccaneers do have the best rush defense in the league as well. The Cowboys are looking really, really good this year. They have the best offense in the league in terms of points scored and yards gained. They have a great rushing attack with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, and a quarterback who has really taken the next step up, making fantastic reads at the line of scrimmage, and Dak Prescott is making so many great throws as well. They also have a really good budding defense with Micah Parsons, the rookie linebacker, and also Trayvon Diggs, that young cornerback who has at least one interception in all of his games so far this year. I think though he might struggle to get an interception in this game, as Kirk Cousins actually has only thrown 2 interceptions so far this season. I think that's it. Kirk Cousins is having the best season of his career so far. So I think this actually could be a bit of a closer game than people are expecting. The Vikings do also have Dalvin Cook at running back, and they also have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, so they themselves also have fantastic weapons. I think the difference maker in this game is possibly the Cowboys' defense, but more importantly, the difference between Dak Prescott, an elite quarterback, and Kirk Cousins, who is having a great season, of course, but he's not an elite quarterback, and I don't think he's top 12 in the NFL. So I think that is going to be where the game is decided, and I think the Cowboys will come out on top, despite the Vikings keeping it very close, because they seem to do that in every game. The Chiefs are really struggling this year, and I think if they don't win this one against the Giants, we definitely have to stop calling them playoff contenders. It looks to me like they don't deserve it at the moment, but I have to keep on that bandwagon for now because they do have just so much talent, and they have actually statistically great offensive stats aside from the turnovers. Patrick Mahomes isn't quite looking himself, and if he keeps throwing interceptions, the Chiefs are not going to get to the playoffs, but I still have faith in them because they have a great head coach, Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill, who are they will just be brilliant until they retire. The 3 of them are a great team. As I said though, I think the defense really needs to improve, and I think defensively, if they aren't able to stop Daniel Jones, when Daniel Jones doesn't have his best weapons, Barkley, Golladay, and Tony, I think there's definitely something wrong, and this game I think is a make it or break it for the Chiefs. Not that if they win this, they'll make it to the playoffs for sure, but if they lose against the Giants, who I know they've been okay the last couple of weeks, but they're not a great team. So if they lose this one, I just have no faith in them, and I'm going to stop picking them to win every game, which is actually what I've done so far, because I still think they have got that quality with them. So in summary, I think the games in Week 8 are going to go as follows. I think that the Bengals are going to beat the Jets because the one good thing the Jets had is now out injured. I think that the Rams are going to beat the Texans, and the game's going to be pretty much identical to their game last week against the Lions. I think that the Browns are going to beat the Steelers because with or without Baker Mayfield, the Browns are just better than the Steelers at the moment. I think that the Lions are going to beat the Eagles because the Lions have been really close to beating some good teams and the Eagles aren't so good, so I think they have a good chance. I think the 49ers are going to beat the Bears because the 49ers, they just have a little something more about them compared to the Bears. I think that the Falcons are going to beat the Panthers because the Falcons, they're on the up at the moment whilst the Panthers are going down and they're on a 4-game losing streak at the moment. I think that the Bills are going to beat the Dolphins because since Brian Flores has joined the Dolphins, they are 0-5 against the Bills, and that's certainly not going to change this weekend. I think the Chargers are going to beat the Patriots because they'll be so desperate to get another win after spending 2 weeks stewing over that loss to the Ravens that they had. I think the Seahawks are going to beat the Jaguars, not because they are better by any means, but because they're at home and the 12th man will push them through over the finish line. And I also think the Broncos are going to beat the Washington football team because we know what the Broncos do to bad teams, and we saw that in week 3. They are built to beat those bad teams. I think that the Saints are going to beat the Buccaneers because the Saints have a really good defense, and I think that they will stop the Buccaneers, and they're at home for the second time as well this season as well. So I think that they might just about have the edge. I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Vikings, and I think their edge will be their defense with Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons, and their quarterback, who is elite at the moment in Dak Prescott. And I also think that the Chiefs are going to win the Giants, and this is the last time I'm going to pick the Chiefs if they lose this one against the Giants for sure. So thank you so much for watching this video on what I thought about the Cardinals against the Packers last night, and my thoughts kind of going into some of the games in week 8 as well. Please also follow our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok in the description, and also check out wallofnfl.com, where we have live scores when the games are going on, and also we have exclusive articles and breaking news when it happens as well. So please comment down below what you thought about last night's game and about any game that you're looking forward to coming up on Sunday and Monday.